This is a deal that involves $3.55 billion. A great deal.
Yeah.
The president of Tanzania says over 10,000 people are going to be employed. Among those, we see restaurant owners, apartment owners, even the engineers who work in these on the entire pipeline. Let me have the map, and people would like to see maybe what we're exactly talking about here. Millions and millions of money that people are going to be receiving over time. Why is it, from the public policy point of view, why is it a big issue that a Ugandan shouldn't take in, yet it's going to be helpful for them in the near future?
Well, for an ordinary Ugandan, it's a 50-50 deal. But because the kind of government we are dealing with is not an ordinary government.
Let me cut you short a little bit. Look at that map. From Hoima, Bukoba, Singida, Tanga in Tanzania, everywhere people are going to be employed, maintenance and everything. It's become a big deal, and everyone is looking at that. It's a great deal for the two countries. Where is the argument coming from you guys, especially the elites who are educated, saying, well, this is not a deal for a country?
Well, I'm not arguing, but my problem are two things. The people of Uganda cannot trust the people in charge of this deal. We are dealing with a government that is almost does not run on policies. It's run on a chain of command. This is what I want. This is what should be done. So when you are under that kind of a structure of leadership, I mean, you cannot be certain that these jobs are going to be there for you as an ordinary Ugandan. But for the future of Uganda, I also think this is a wrong direction to take. Because the whole world is taking a completely different direction. They are turning out from fossil fuels to renewable energy. We just had President Biden recently held a global climate change summit where all main global leaders are turning their eyes away from extracting fuel from the ground to renewable energy, electricity, solar power, and all that. All this money that is going to be invested in, trust me, 20 years from now or 10 years, the minimum, it's going to be useless. It's going to be useless. So as a country, we needed to look beyond. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but we needed to look beyond as a country, Uganda. But then on the other hand, it's going to strengthen the relationship and at the same time damage other relationships, because the area where this oil is the Albertine area, this oil cuts across through Congo.
Right.
And Uganda has to have a good working relationship between Congo to be able to maximally exhaust this oil. So there's also policy differences between Uganda and Congo on that. And then on the other hand, Kenya lost a lot of money because they had invested a lot they thought they were going to get this deal from Uganda.
Are you suggesting that we have had in East Africa a number of things that have happened before? The Standard Rail Gauge that was going to be constructed. Yeah. Kenya did their part, Tanzania did their part, Uganda didn't do their part.
And I'll tell you a story about that.
So are you trying to drive to that at the end of the day it's not going to be helpful?
I'm not saying it's not going to be fruitful, but I'm trying to cut across. Like, as a country, the infrastructure is going to be there, because we cannot say we have oil and we don't have the infrastructure to get it out of the ground and to export it and to sell it to get money. But on the other hand, the kind of government that is in charge of this deal is not a trustworthy government. And that's my point. Like, these are people who are, first of all, what they say on TV is not what goes on in the background. You don't know, like, there are a lot of companies, like, let me give an example, like Uganda Airlines. Nobody knows who owns this. Nobody knows who has shares in this. So when you have a government that does things like that, I mean, as a ordinary Uganda, you should not even be excited. You should just go on with your usual life, because if actually President Museveni initially wanted himself to have his own oil refinery in Uganda. And trust me, that was a mission impossible, because even the richest man in Africa tried it and it didn't work, because there are people who are in charge of the global oil, OPEC. And you cannot come as President Museveni and say, I want to have my own refinery.
Yeah, but
No, the oil refinery is going to the oil refinery is going to be there.
Let me
actually in
finalize
Uganda.
this, David. The whole idea is our government is so personalized to a point that when such a deal is struck, as an ordinary Ugandan, you're not sure if you have stake in there. But there are people who think they own the country and they own everything that goes on in the country. They think they own everything. So for an ordinary Ugandan, you should not be excited. You should only be excited that you have the infrastructure there.